The Chicago Bears just provided insight into a massive future move. GM Ryan Poles, he gave an interview today at the NFL owners meeting. He covered some previously unknown insight into their interactions with Caleb Williams. Plus, he gave us some closure on the Justin Fields trade. I know I could use that. Hey, this is Sean from Sports Talk Bears. Would absolutely love for you to join this positive community we've been blessed with here. Join us, hit the subscribe button. Would love to have you. So GM Ryan Poles, he just gave an interview today at the NFL owners meeting, and he noted some huge positive things regarding their time with presumptive number one choice, Caleb Williams. Now we've gone through all the negatives and flaws about this kid, right? You can go back and watch. I've done a lot of them. Plus, I've been a Fields guy the whole time. But let's look at what Poles had to say. The Bears came into LA before Caleb's pro day at USC, and there was something the quarterback did not do that resonated. He wasn't texting, he wasn't Snapchatting, he wasn't TikToking. He actually left his phone alone. I know it's a small thing, but we've also been outlining really small negative things here too. So let's give him a chance. Poles shared this, and I'm going to go to the story on The Athletic. You guys know The Athletic is awesome, so check out this story in the full. So this is what Poles had to say. One of my guys kind of bumped me on it, which I think is rare these days for a 22-year-old. He never touched his phone. So he was really intentional with his conversations and talking about his interests and things he likes to do. So just a really good touch point. The dinner was with Assistant General Manager Ian Cunningham, Coach Matt Eberflus, Offensive Coordinator Shane Waldron, Passing Game Coordinator Thomas Brown, and Quarterbacks Coach Kerry Joseph. They also included some of his players as well. Some USC receivers were also there. It must have been a big check for Poles to pick up. There's a lot being said about the team collapsing last year, too. I've talked about it. But let's be objective here. Let's keep something in mind. USC's defense, they ranked 117th in the nation last year. That's unbelievably bad. Question: is it possible he was forced to play hero ball and his leadership wasn't in question? It's a fair question. More from Poles. When you talk to his teammates, they don't like him. They love him. His leadership, how he brings people together. He's intentional with his leadership. Same goes with the staff. I'm just having a hard time finding a person that does not like him or even love him and doesn't think that he can reach the highest limits. The feedback has just been really good. And when asked what could be done with the first pick, the Bears possess, Poles responded with, and I quote, "Hopefully it just hits me." And he said that with a smirk on his face. That smirk is a little telling. More and more, it makes sense. The Chicago Bears are going to be the landing spot for Caleb Williams. And we're almost to the point that if we're going that way, it's kind of silly to hide it at this point. If Poles doesn't know which way they're going at this point as well, he may just not be good at his job. We will, in fact, though, we'll be going to the other quarterbacks pro days as well, and due diligence, it'll be done. And yes, I suppose it's possible this is a smokescreen, but we were looking at the field situation in the light of almost conspiracy theory. And I regrettably followed all the breadcrumbs there. I was just flat out wrong. I think, like myself, so many of us are guilty of this. We wanted Fields to be our quarterback so bad. And dependable news sources were following the breadcrumbs. But in the end, all the big sources were leaving breadcrumbs that maybe this is happening, maybe this is happening. And we wanted it to happen so bad that we are following every single one of them. I was fully wrong. I won't make that mistake again, my friends. Let's be objective here. So Caleb Williams withholding his medicals, that wasn't an issue with trading Fields. There wasn't a master plan to trade him on draft day. There wasn't a plan to trade this first rounder for a bounty and keep teams in the dark. It just wasn't some type of trickery. There simply just wasn't a market for him. And the value was having him on our team, where he's much loved still. And the possible bounty we could get for the number one pick, the way that we could build essentially a super team around him. But that obviously wasn't the plan from the start. Perhaps the situation with picking Caleb number one is just something to accept. The most obvious answer, as in most of life, it's the simplest one. All signs point to him being drafted by the Bears right now. So today, right now, I'm going to operate under that assumption. Maybe tomorrow there'll be different news and I'll cover it then. Let's go to something else. Maybe the reason that Caleb that Caleb looks a bit unappealing. The reason that he's hard to connect with, especially myself, I'm a bit older. I've been a Bears fan for 40 years. The college landscape has changed. And Caleb Williams is the first name, image, and likeness superstar of college football. He's 22 years old only. He's already made an estimated $10 million. I mean, we need to look at this from a different lens here. Maybe Poles is realizing the same thing. With the NIL deal, there's pros and cons, Poles said. I'm starting to learn that when we gather information, it's actually pretty helpful. It puts these guys in a spotlight. It gives them more responsibility at a young age. It forces them to prioritize things: money, business, football, school. How do they handle that? What kind of structure do they put around them to make sure they're making good decisions? Do they have people that can say, no, that's not going to fit with my timeline? So I think there's some positives here, and I'm picking that up. And I think this is what the Bears are really analyzing right now during their time with him. Does he have structure around him to make sure that he's making good decisions? Is that going to continue when he's on the team? What has been his priority? Money, business, football, school? Like, how has he handled that over the last 3 years? Those are things that they're delving into, and he's not really being clear to the answers on those, but seeming as they're still full in on him in word and in deed right now, it seems like they're getting positive answers on those things. Right now, the Bears say they feel good about everything. That's all we have to go on. In September, Williams provided all of his USC teammates with custom Beats by Dre headphones. The USC women's soccer team, they also received them. It came through one of his NIL deals. Poles continued. The cool thing is, you do have some resources to take your O-line out for dinner. You see the Christmas gifts that the NFL guys do. So it's really bringing those guys together. Spending time creating that bond is really what you're looking for in that position. And he's done that. Maybe we have to do this as fans. Maybe we have to follow Ryan Poles' lead here. Let's be open-minded and not perhaps talk ourselves out of the first player labeled as a generational prospect at the QB position by so many people. The first player to be labeled that since Andrew Luck and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, in the words of a parent of a 7-year-old, can we just chill out and allow ourselves to have something nice here for a change? Can we have nice things? Is Caleb Williams that nice thing? I'm still trying to work it out with you, but let's follow Poles' lead. Poles, he appears to be open-minded. Let's look at this as well. College football, it won't be the same again with NIL here to stay. And Poles, he's embracing the differences with Williams. No agent. He's not worried that Williams lacks typical representation from an NFLPA certified agent. Instead, he understands where Williams, he's already made millions through NIL deals. He's starting to understand where he's coming from, and he continued to talk about that. With the draft process, it doesn't make it too difficult. He's referring to Williams not having an agent here. There are some little things, communication, just understanding the landscape of that. It's probably one of the more negative things, but there's probably a lot of pros here too in this situation specifically. So we've got a day at Hallis Hall coming up where we'll host Caleb, and don't worry, all the other quarterback prospects in the near future. We'll also get our medical evaluation from Caleb. Poles and Eberflus, they're going to head to LSU after the NFL owners meetings. But here's one thing that's kind of interesting. Poles is not planning to attend North Carolina's pro day for quarterback Drake May. But the Bears will have a contingent present, but Poles, he is not going to be there. You could read into this. Poles choosing that to not attend North Carolina's pro day, it might let us know that Drake May, he's not someone that we're going to draft. I'm speculating here, but that's like legit. That might be a tell that Poles isn't interested. Excuse me. But at LSU, Poles and company, they'll get to see quarterback Jaden Daniels work out, get a close look at receivers, Malik Neighbors, and Brian Thomas Jr. during their pro day as well. Brian Thomas Jr., he might be a great choice if we choose to trade down our number 9 pick and still get a dominant receiver. He could factor into the equation. I like him a lot. So to finish, Poles, he closed his interview with, we'll continue to evaluate everyone. As I said before, we gain clarity as we move forward. That's a good thing. But we also want to make sure that we continue and finish the process with the rest of the class too. Soon after that, it'll be time to make the selection. And I, for one, I'm willing to, I want to just get there so we can move on with our lives, so we can evaluate what kind of team we're going to be left with starting this new season. And it has been so much fun and so much to look forward to. This is a positive time in our fan base and in our franchise, you guys. Thanks for staying with me. Bear down, and we will talk soon. See ya.